Good morning to our Thursday Q&A call. This is Tina. I am your hostess, and we have quite a few people on here. If you have a question, if there is something you want to see in Mortgage Coach, a strategy you want to learn, anything you need, I am here to answer that. If you're struggling with something with one of your own clients and you're quite not sure what to do, let me know. I can even jump into your account to be able to help you out and hopefully resolve your problem. So I'll give everyone a couple minutes. Couple of things in Mortgage Coach while we're waiting to see if anyone has questions. If you see the little yellow pop-ups, these are to help you as you're going through Mortgage Coach. They give you some guidance as to what the cells are for. They're really great on those cells that we don't use quite as often. For example, in those assumption areas, you'll be able to go in there and read exactly what those areas are for. If at any point those become a little distracting for you, you can turn them off right here where it says tooltips, and that will turn them off so they don't show up. So again, anyone with any questions, drop it down into that chat box. Everyone's quiet. As many people as there are on here, everyone is quiet. Okay, let's go with this strategy templates. I'm actually going to log out of here, and I'm going to log into an account that has all strategy templates in it. Might help if I add a password. Are there any strategy templates in here that you are uncomfortable with? So Nancy, I need help inputting the full year of taxes, not just reserves, and my template is not showing APR cost. Why not all of them? So is it accurate? Okay, Nancy, here is the tax information. We'll go there first. So when you're pulling in the reserves for taxes, I'm going to click into Jane Doe and go down to one of my, I'm going to open this up just so you can see where I'm going. I'm going to monthly cost. All you need to do to collect that extra month of or year of taxes is check this little box. So when you come down, you put the 2 months in or the 6 months in, make sure this little box is checked to put that full year in. And that way you're collecting your year plus months. And then the APR cost. So when you go into your closing cost, and you go into your closing cost details, here is where you should have APRs checked. Now, each state is different. So if we built them at the branch level, then they would have told us, hopefully, which ones are APR, which ones are not APR. If you built out your own templates, you want to make sure that you're checking those that are APR. If you're unsure about it, ask your underwriter or ask someone what those APR costs are so you can make sure they're checked. Underwriting, processing fees, transfer fees, those are normally all APR cost. So again, it does vary from state to state, so I don't want to tell you this exactly is and this exactly is an APR, but you just need to make sure in your account that you make sure that you check the little box to add it. Yep, so if you have a template that's partial, you're going to click on add fee, and let's say I want to add application fee here. I'm just going to type A till I get to application, or scroll down, and then I can put in that fee. Let's say it's 1% of the loan. Then I'm going to make sure that I check this little APR because I know application fee is an application fee here in California. or an APR fee here in California. So you can go through and add those. Now, I know some people like to have word for word the same as their loan estimate or their GE. And if you want it to have the same exact names and we don't have it in our list of fees here, you can add any of your own by clicking on that Add Custom Fee. And then you can type in exactly what that fee is. Now make sure that if it is a percentage, you do it properly on the property value or the loan amount. And if you click on APR here, every time you add that fee, because once you've added it one time, it stays in the system, so you don't have to add it every time. But every time you then put that fee on there, it's automatically going to be defaulted to APR every single time. So that's a good way for you, if you're adding your own fees, to make sure that if they are APR, that they're in there every single time. Any other questions on fees while I'm in the fee template? Recently, I was given a really good kind of example of what our templates are like in Mortgage Coach, and that's nesting dolls. So if you're familiar with nesting dolls, they're the little German dolls where one doll fits over the next doll. So the closing cost fees, these are like the smallest doll. They're the bottom of the dolls, the tiny doll. And then if you go in, the next level of dolls, whoops, I'm going to go to my settings. The next level of dolls would be the product template. That product template is that middle doll. It has a little bit more information, but it's not complete. But it includes that fee template. It includes the tiny doll inside of it. If you go to closing cost details, you can add those fee templates right here. But it also includes other things that are stagnant in an actual loan product. So the first one's the closing cost. The second one is the actual products. So you can break it out by product. And this third doll and the final doll is the strategy templates. So this is like the big doll. So you can build your own strategy templates, or you can use ones and you can change the ones we have built here. So we'll go back again. Is there any strategy template here that you would like me to dive deeper into, talk about, or is there a strategy template that maybe you're using out in the field, or a scenario you're using in the field all the time right now, and you don't have a strategy template that you want to see how to build it? Either one I would be more than happy to do for you. And again, if you have another question off topic, and you want me to go in a different direction, you guys guide me. Let me know what you need on the call. Open house flyer is a template. That's a great one. So let's go into the partner area. We don't work a lot in the partner area, but the partner area also has, and I'll come back to that one, Ronald, after this one. So the partner area also has the ability to have strategy templates. So if I'm using the partner area as a strategy template, I'm going to do it a little differently than if I'm doing it in the client area. So you can add clients or partner area. You can add a strategy template simply by toggling this top button. So yes, it's a strategy template. Now here is kind of the mindset of the strategy template here. Let's say that I'm always showing and I'm always doing scenarios for different loan officer, not the same loan officer. And I'm always showing the same products. If I'm always showing the same products, those are the products I'm going to put in here. But I'm not going to put in contact information, partner information, images. I'm only going to add products here. So let's say I was going to do, and I'm going to do this one as a conventional, FHA, and VA. So these are the three products that I'm going to build into here. So I'm going to go to my product one. And this is just going to be a conventional 30-year. Now, if you have your product templates all built out, here's where they come into play to make it really easy. Click on Add a Product from Template. Find your conventional 30-year fixed. And I don't think this account doesn't have it. This one's pretty empty. Click on that and then come down and fix anything that you want it to reflect all the time. I don't want an interest in there. I want to make sure and have closing cost in there. I have my prepaid days of interest, hazard insurance, property tax, and I don't have reserve months, so I'm going to add in reserve months. So I'm going to do 3 plus and 3. So now I'm going to add a second product, and that second product is going to be the FHA. I have two choices here. I can add it from a template if I have a template already set up and just drop it in and be one and done, or I can copy it from that first one and click on OK and then change and adjust it based on the FHA. So I'm going to add the upfront premium. I'm going to do the 3.5% down payment. When I click on my next page, at the bottom, it's going to open up that upfront premium so I can add my premium here. And then the other thing I'm going to add that's different on this loan compared to the other one would be my MI factor. So I'm going to come in here, and it looks like I have the wrong MI in there. So I'm going to add my MI in there, and now I have that second one done. And now I can quickly add my VA. And again, simply copying from the one that is the closest. I'm going to copy it from the conventional 30-year because I have less changes to make with that one. I'm going to add my funding fee. I'm going to change it to 0% down. And I'm going to add my funding fee here, which I think is 2.2. I haven't done a VA for a while. And everything is in there. So now I have a product template that is set up for my partner, or a strategy template that I can quickly come in and start a new partner here. However, if I already have built one out for a partner, I want to stack it underneath that partner. I don't want to go in and build a new one so I have that same partner in my search engine. And I'm actually going to log out of this account and go into my Tina account to show that one. So now when I go into my partners, again, I have Eric Mine here, but if I go into my search all, I don't want to see 15 Eric Mines. I want one Eric Mine. And I want to be able to stack it underneath all of Eric's under the same one. And you can see I practiced this a few times. So what I'm going to do, if I have a presentation to do for a partner that I've already built a presentation for, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my search all. I'm going to search for the presentation or the name of the realtor that I want to use. And then I'm going to open that folder up. I can choose any one of these scenarios that are similar to the one that I want to build out. So I'm going to say it's going to be similar to this one, and then I'm going to copy the analysis. I'm going to copy it to the current partner and click on OK. Now the reason I do this is because when I copy a current partner, it's also going to bring in all my partners' information if it's in there. So it would bring in their images, all of their contact information. It's also going to bring in those same products that I built out the previous one with. So now what I need to go in there is I need to go into the property. I would change, well, first off, in the partner area, the very first page, I'm going to put the new address here. So I'm going to say our new address is 987 9th Street. So then I'm going to go to the property and I'm going to put in the new property address. I'm going to say it's in the same area. I'm going to put in the new information here. And I'm just putting in some random numbers. I'm going to put the new link here, and any features that need changed, I'm going to change those features. Then I'm going to click on next, and now I'm going to upload my new images. So to upload images, really easy, click on browse, find the image that you want to upload. I don't know if I have any home images in here, probably not. And then you just click on open. So then you're going to come in here and you're going to update the purchase price. So that's all you should have to do in order to have it updated. Everything else on those products should pretty much be remaining the same unless you're doing something different or it's in a different market, and you have maybe different property tax or hazard insurance that you want to display on there. But otherwise, the property amount is the only thing that should be changing. Then I'm going to go to presentation. I'm going to turn on all my products for this one. Oh, I have it on seller buy down, that's why. And then I'm going to click onto preview and add my new quote date. So make sure you are updating your quote date when you come in and do this. So you don't want that old quote date on there. And I have no idea what today is. It's one of those days. And then I can go into preview and see my presentation. So everything that is in there for my loan officer or for my partner is going to stay, and I'm only going to have to change a couple of things. So does that make sense for everyone on the two different ways to do it? One is just going to be adding the products in if you're doing strategy templates. And the second one is if you are doing a partner that you are adding another property under that same partner, you're going to actually go into the search all to add it. Okay, looks good. We're going to go into the client area again, into the strategy templates. I'm going to log out and log back into my strategy one. So we have two suggestions, MI options or refi. So raise your hand if you want to see MI options being done. And then I'm going to lower hands. Raise your hand if you want to see a cash out refi. Okay, let's work on the refi. We are in a great refinance area right now, and I don't know if you guys, I'm going to actually, if you're not in our Facebook group, go into our Facebook group. Actually Doug and Dan both posted in our Facebook group this morning about the market. So if you're not familiar with what's going on in the market right now, you can come in, you can watch Dan's live, and then Doug has actually, he's writing a long piece that you can go in. He's even showing you some samples in here of what you can be doing. So definitely worth your time of coming in and looking at these and understanding what's going on in the market, because we are in a little bit of a shake right now, and things are changing. So make sure you're staying on top of it. So we're going to go into our strategy template, and you should have a strategy template in there called rate and term cash out refi or refi 30/20/15. I think this one I just built. I think this one is my original one. But I'm going to go into my rate and term cash out refi. And I'm just going to go into the edit template first to show you what I've done in this one. So I've switched it over to a strategy template. The goal whenever I'm doing templates for refinance, I am going to click on other, because everything in here, because it has a current loan scenario, other covers all of them that have a current loan scenario. Purchase a new home is the only one that does not show a current loan scenario. Then I'm going to go into my 30-year, which would be my product one. I'm going to add just the name, 30-year term, because when you do a refinance scenario, you actually start by copying the current loan and then adding your closing cost. So you don't need closing costs in refinance scenarios. Then I went in and I billed out, or just put the name 15-year term, and then I put cash out for reno as my third product. So you can put, again, up to 4 products in here to show. A couple other ones might be principal reduction or investment. Either one of those are also great ones to add into a refinance analysis. And then I set up my analysis area based on my average home or my average area that I want to show. And down here, I want to show total net worth. That's my preference in most case scenarios, unless my client, I know their specific goal. Now I'm going to go back to my client, to my strategy templates, and I'm going to start working in that strategy template as a client. So I'm going to go to my rate and term cash out refi, copy to a new client, and then we're going to, I want it on individual, and Roland is going to be my example. So I would put Roland's name in there. I would add Roland's phone number in there. If I worked with a referral source in the beginning, I'm actually going to pull them into this loop, and I'm going to call them and I'm going to say, hey, I am doing a refinance scenario for Roland. Remember, we closed him back in together. Well, what is the current value based on your estimate? If you can call me in an hour or so, let me know if you have time. If you don't have time, I'll look it up. But if you have time, can you look it up for me or give me your best estimate? Because I'm sure yours is going to be better than Zillow's. So then that is just looping them in. That's planting in their mind that I work my past book of business, and that I know exactly who I did the past book of business with, because I want to be able to work with them and use their past book of business to do mortgage reviews on. So if I can demonstrate how great I am working my past book of business by making sure I call them every time, then eventually, hopefully, they builds that trust in where I can go, you know what? Did you close, or what did you close from 2009 to 2011 that you haven't worked, that you might want me to help you out by working that past book of business? And if they trust you, they're going to give it to you. The only people worse at working that past book of business is our referral sources. I mean, we're not great at it, most loan officers as a whole, but they're even worse than we are because it is on our mind. Presentation name is going to be Refi. Contact information, only thing I'm placing here is the property street address. The top part and the bottom part, unless I am using this as a CRM too, I'm not going to waste my time and place it in there. It doesn't show up on the presentation. I'm just going to do the property street address. I can skip goals because I already have goals in there and go right to my assumptions. This is where I'm going to place the current loan scenario info. So if my referral source gave me an amount, I'm going to place that in, or I'm going to look it up for myself. See the little red? This is an indicator that this is the minimum required filled in order to have a complete TCA. So if I have that little red dot, I need to fill that in. If there's not a little red dot, I don't need to fill in. And could I put in my current monthly mortgage, property value, all of that? If I do not have the actual information here, then I'm going to use this. But if I have my current loan information, I'm going to come over here, leave those blank, because those will be filled in by the information I place in here. So now I'm going to come in and I would place in my date. So I'm going to say December. This was their Christmas present. The original loan amount, I got to see how much, $350. So let's say it was $279. Original interest rate. And you'll notice once I put a term in here, it's going to give me a remaining balance. That remaining balance is based on an amortization schedule of normal payments. So if they went in and they are just run-of-the-mill, only make normal payments, this balance should be close to their statement payoff balance. It's not going to be the same because that payoff balance is adding in some days of interest and stuff. You can update this by simply highlighting over it. So I'm going to say it's 241, 300. I can type that right over it. So now I'm showing the actual payoff amount instead of just what the remaining balance was based off of the loan. Now, if you don't have a payoff amount, leave that other one in. It's going to be close. So you're going to be okay. And I'm going to come down and it should match my P&I payment. Now I'm going to go in, I'm going to add my actual hazard insurance. So whatever that number is, I want the real number. I do not want a percentage here. Same thing with property tax amounts. I want the real number. I do not want a percentage because if I put a percentage, what's going to happen is it's going to actually change my hazard insurance and property amount based on the new assumptions that I'm placing in there. If I do have MI, I can add that in here. And then I can skip affordability. Affordability is just, can they afford it now or not? I'm going to just take the assumption they can afford their current house payment, they can afford a refinance, and hopefully I'm going to save them money anyways. I'm going to go to my 30-year fixed. You can see the first thing I'm going to do, and the process of procedure here is really important. I am going to copy it from the current loan scenario and click on OK. Now I have two identical loans. And the reason I do this is because I want to pull over hazard insurance, property tax, payoff amount, if there was MI, anything with that primary loan that started off, I want to have that exact same loan to start off with as my loan here. Second thing I'm going to do is this a refinance? I'm going to click that yes. Now I can go in and make the adjustments necessary. So interest rate, I'm going to change my interest rate. It is still a 360 loan. I'm going to come over here, and this time I'm going to add in the closing costs using the template. And my templates in here are not great, but we're just going to use them as is. Prepaid days of interest, and my hazard insurance and property tax months. So then that product is done. So I really didn't have to add much. Once I did those copies, now I'm going to do my next product. Now, instead of me going through and adding all of that stuff in there, I'm going to copy it from the 30-year and make the adjustments because all my closing costs are in there, as well as all of my information about that current loan scenario. All I need to do is adjust my interest rate and my term. That product's done. Now I can go to my third product, cash out for reno. Now on my third product, I'm going to decide, am I going to use the 15-year or the 30-year when I copy it? I'm going to use that 30-year because I have some wiggle room here. So I'm going to copy it from the 30-year. I'm going to ask my client, how much money do you need for renovation? The amount of cash out that you have for your client, you want to add it to the base loan amount. So I'm going to increase that base loan amount. I'm going to say $20,000. So this is going to be 26. Now I've added in that renovation money. So now what you're going to see, and I'm just going to go and show a preview because I want to show you before and after of this. What you're going to see is I am going to be showing a cash to close. I don't want to show that. So I'm going to come back over to my mortgage account, and I'm going to go into each product. So if I am rolling the cost in of that refi, I'm going to go to my closing cost. I'm going to click on my closing cost details, and I'm going to add all fees to loan. Apply it to the loan. I'm also going to add my prepaid days of interest. Now, and I'm going to go to that 15-year. Now, when you look at the preview, you'll see 0 because everything's been added to the loan, and what it does is it increase that loan amount. So if you're increasing the loan amount in order to pay it off, that's how you're going to do it. Let's go back into here. I'm going to do my 15-year, but my 15-year I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to copy it from that 30-year because it's already set up, and change again this back to 3.875, 180. And then I'm going to do my reno loan as well. And I'm, again, going to do it the fastest way. Copy it from my 30-year. Add in my $20,000 to my base loan amount. Now, the other thing that might happen here is my interest rate might raise because I am doing a cash out. So now when I show my presentation over here, and it's not showing that cash out, what is going on? It's holding on to this. I'm going to toggle this really quick. Sometimes there's little things that you can do that trigger things. And now I'm going to go back and toggle it back to, yes, it's a refi. And remember, I am in a environment. Interest rate has a comma. Thank you. Nancy always has my back. She is so good at paying attention. It's still not showing. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk to my support team to see it's actually not picking up my new loan amount. So I'm going to show them this. Let's try this again. I know that they had this problem before, that it wasn't allowing you to switch it here. And they might have changed something that made it switch back. There we go. Now I have my 20,000. So when you go through and you have all of that in there, set up your analysis screen for whatever you want, and then you have your presentation. So any questions on that cash out refi? The other thing you can do is if you're paying off debt, let's say you're paying off credit cards, and I know exactly what that debt is that my client is paying off. I can go in here, and instead of cash out for refinance, it would be, you know, whatever you want to call it, debt payoff or whatever. But when you go over here to your closing cost detail, you can actually add in your debt here. So I would say, and I know, actually I don't in this one, I would add a custom fee, maybe Discover card. I would add a negative amount here. So I'm going to go ahead and go in there and show you. So Discover. They're going to pay off Discover. I'm going to put it as a default prepaid. And the reason I do this is because the client is not going to see the cash. It's going to be handled in that prepaid period with escrow. So anything that's handled in that escrow, let's say they're paying off a satellite, that is going to always be marked here, so it's taken out of that short-term savings area. Then I'm going to click on OK. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 10,000 of that money is going towards the Discover card. And then I am going to apply it to the loan. And now in order to trigger it, remember you always have to click the next button. That's what triggers it on the presentation itself. And what did it do? Oh, I didn't add it to the loan amount, that's why. So now they changed my settings in here. I'm just going to take off the negative and see if it works now, because I'm not adding it to the loan. It's the only thing with the new system. I'm still learning too. So There we go. So you don't have to put a negative, just don't add it to the loan amount and it pulls it up properly. So any questions on this information? Raise your hand if anyone wants me to explain the total cost analysis in a refinance scenario, what you're looking at. So let's go through really quick. Summary area is the basic summary. The only information I get asked on the summary is right here, first loan, 5-year cost, and savings over 60 months. What this is showing, oops, not that one, first total interest percentage and 5-year cost. This is how much of the money is going towards interest in a percentage for the life of the loan. This one is how much unrecoverable cost is paid in that first 5 years, the real cost of the loan for the first 5 years. I have not heard any loan officer that's being asked, what are those? Or to explain them, but you should know anyways because it is TILA RESPA. So those are your TILA RESPA requirements. Pay attention to your freedom point. This is your payoff point that you have. More information, it's going to break it down. Now, if you are showing a reduction payment, principal reduction, for example, my client says, I don't want to roll back to 30 years. I want to have the lower interest rate, but I still want to pay it off at least as early as I'm paying this one off. You can go into that analysis area, into the reinvestment strategy, and this savings right here, deposit it here. So $294.19. I'm just going to click off of this, but I have to advance the window to make it change on my presentation. And now you'll see that payment term, they're actually going to save about 2 years on that loan scenario by making the same payment that they're currently making. So if you do have that person that's like, I really don't want to roll it back because I don't want to start it all over and pay 30 years. This is that spot where you say, oh no, just keep making those same payments. And what's going to happen is you're going to pay it off 2 years earlier. Closing cost breaks down your closing cost initially in bulk. The itemization is here. I'll go into that reinvestment since we used it, that reinvestment strategy. You can highlight that extra reduction payment. Now what this graph is doing is it's benchmarking. The current year is the benchmark, so this will be at 0. If it's in the red, it means the client needs to bring more money in. If it's in blue, that means the client's going to save that much money. Same thing here, benchmark. The 0 is the current because it's always benchmarked as a 0. Now you can change and adjust that, but this is the default. And here's the savings, and here is the extra cost. And finally, net worth in 10 years. These are going to be the values in 10 years for your client. So my total loan balance at the end of 10 years, my total net worth at the end of 10 years, and that way I can really show my clients, especially if you know they have a financial goal at a set period of time. Let's say they want to sell the home in 7 years. You can put 7 years on here, and then you can show them where you're going to be at that time frame. So any questions on any of that? Anyone new, there is a little menu bar up here in the upper left-hand corner. You've seen me use it. I can clear out my highlights. To highlight, all I'm doing is clicking my little mouse button to highlight. So I click it either on the row, the name of the row to do the row, the name of the column to do the column, or the individual cell. I can switch my view from here to a stacked view. Depending on what you're doing, you might prefer one view over another. If I click on that share button, it's going to give me the link where I can share it with a client. I can print it up here. So if I click on print, I'm going to click submit for print, and it's going to actually show me how it will print. So I'm going to cancel out of that. It's going to bring me back into that original form, but I'm just showing you here. And then the last thing up here is to translate. Some of you have translates. If you have a enterprise client and it's not approved through compliance, you might not have that translate in there. So if you don't have the translate, it's just because it's not client approved or compliance approved. So they turned it off for you. And a lot of times the reason they do that is if they don't have the documentation available in Spanish at your company, then they won't allow you to show the TCA in Spanish either. So any questions on any of this? If not, I'll go into the other one, MI options, which is another one that is a really good, unless someone has another question or a direction that they would like me to go into. So support-wise, one-on-ones with me is very rare to get. To be quite honest, we don't do a lot of one-on-ones. Especially if you are a broker client. If you're an enterprise client, it really comes down to time frame, but I am so busy with everything else I do that I don't really have a lot of opportunities to do one-on-one. But we have a ton of training information. So first of all, pay attention to what comes up here. Pretty soon, if you are an enterprise client or if you're not an enterprise client, what you're going to start seeing is these are going to start changing. If you're an enterprise company client, you're going to start seeing enterprise specific products in here for training for them, as well as if you're an individual client, you'll start seeing this change to based on what is trending in the market. So right now, I would put a refinance scenario up there. If I was working with a client that had Optimal Blue, I would have a refinance scenario starting from Optimal Blue. So watch that little ticker up there. That is going to be coming into play. And then here you are also going to see, like right now, it's showing what is a TCA. If you click here, what's a rent versus own? The search all feature. So it's giving you some other learning material. We are going to be feeding you more and more learning materials based on what you're doing. So when you click on strategy template, this is going to change to become a video on strategy template. We're just in the midst of building out these. If you click on, let's say you click on the investor one and you copy it to a new client, this is going to be a template that is, or a video that is based on the strategy template that you clicked on. So you'll be able to drive through and watch a video and learn at the same time, hopefully giving you side by side, and you'll be able to stop this and start this as needed. So if you get to a point that, okay, you do the first page, you need to stop it, fill that in, go to the next page, stop and fill it in. And that way you'll be able to learn side by side with it. Honestly, if you get down using strategy templates, they are going to be the easiest way to build out. And if you build strategy templates for yourself based on what you're doing, it's going to be the easiest way and fastest way for you to build out any presentation. So, question on recording. Yes, I did remember to click record. If you send me an email, tina@mortgagecoach.com, I would be happy to send this over once it is converted and uploaded into YouTube. So we do have a ton of videos in YouTube as well, but I'm going to show you a different place to go. So if you click on help here, this is a search engine that is a keyword search. Let's say that I am building out a cost of waiting, and I search cost of waiting in here. I want to make sure that if I am clicking into something, it says presentation in the advice engine. This is the new system. So if there is a certain type of presentation that you want, then you will see this information down here, Advice Engine. Don't click on the old one. That one actually will be removed pretty soon. So just click on the ones that say Advice Engine. If you click into something, let's say Move Up Analysis, and you don't see it in the Advice Engine, send me an email to tina@mortgagecoach.com. If you find one that does not have a sample, what I'll do is I will send it over to our support team and ask them to build that sample out. So that move up analysis, they haven't built that sample out yet, so I want to make sure that that is built in there, and that way it has accessibility. Couple other spots in here that is super useful. Resources. If you've never gone into this resource button, there is a ton of information in here. My favorite two spots are, I'm a reader. I learn best by reading, not by going through. My attention span's that of a 2-year-old. So I would never be able to sit through and watch this webinar that you guys are doing. So I would come in here, and there are download guides. You can come in here and go through those guides and read through them, and it's step-by-step procedures. There's also in here scripts and MC conversations. Raise your hand if you do not have email scripts or emails already built into your email account. Okay, so let's talk about emails. I'm going to actually bring up my email, and I'm going to, hold on, I'm clicking on new email. So when I go into my email, and I'm going to share my email screen, and I start building out an email here, I rarely build from scratch. I have a ton of emails, and you can do this as templates as well. I prefer to do the signature because it's right on the page. I have a ton of emails in here already built out for responses to things that I get all the time. I have a sample email in here that is a sample email to send to clients that I can just drop in my total cost analysis in here to be able to send it over to the client themselves. So build out emails. What emails do I suggest? I suggest a purchase email. I suggest a refinance email. I suggest an annual mortgage review email. You don't really need a lot of them, but when you're doing the emails, always take time to customize the first paragraph. Add in 1 or 2 sentences because you want your client to feel like you did it especially for them. And I'm going to share some in a moment, Roland. I'm getting to that spot. So you want to customize the first one. Also, click here to view your total cost analysis. You could just stick the link here. I'm going to grab a link really quick from my presentation. So give me one moment. I'm getting there. I just don't have it, so I'm sharing both screens. So once I have my link, I could just put my link in here. So that's one way to do it. However, we have heard a lot of feedback on people just don't like to click on links unless it's trusted. So if you are doing this, what you need to do is during your initial consultation, before you send that TCA over, let them know, I am building you out a total cost analysis or whatever you want to call it. There is going to be a link. You need to click on that link to see it. And then people are getting it to click on. The other way people are doing it is they are, click here to view your total cost analysis. This becomes a hyperlink. To hyperlink it, highlight it. I'm going to left mouse click it and click on hyperlink. That comes up as part of my menu. And I don't think that you guys can see that hyperlink. I'm actually going to share my whole window. It's a mess, so just know that I keep a messy screen. So now that I have this hyperlink in here, I'm going to put that TCA address right in here. And I'm going to show you that again so you guys can see what I did. Highlight it. Open up the menu bar by clicking that left mouse button. Hyperlink. Open hyperlink. Oh, that opened it up. I wanted to, the first time you just click on edit hyperlink. And then I can change it right here. Another thing that people are doing is they will take a screenshot of their total cost analysis, drop the screenshot into their email, and then hyperlink the link to the actual picture. So you have that ability as well. So any questions on the email itself? I'm going to give you guys some sample emails. I'm going to go back to just sharing my, I just find this a whole lot less distracting if I'm only sharing one thing. So if you go into the resources, you click on see all 14 articles, there's an area in here. Where did they move it to? Did I miss it? There used to be one that says Mortgage Coach. There it is, Mortgage Coach Scripts. And I'm just going to give you guys the link to this area right here. This is a bunch of different links to different scripting information. The one that you want to pay attention to that we're talking about right now is the training email scripts. Clicking into here, it is going to give you several examples. It also gives you a little bit about recording a video, and you can come in here and you can change and adjust these. I highly suggest you change and adjust them to fit your own needs. So if you find something that works somewhat for you, go in, highlight it, copy it, paste it to a workbook page, and then go in and make your own changes, or paste it to your email if you're doing it as your signature. Place it to your email, and then you can go in and you can do that signature. Does anyone raise your hand if anyone wants me to show you how I built them as signatures? Okay, let's go in and show how to build them as signatures. Again, I'm going to share my whole screen, so it's going to be messy again. When I go into my email, you have to open up a new email first. When you open up a new email, click on Signatures, and at the very top, there's Edit Signatures. Clicking into Edit Signatures has the ability to build out a new signature. So if I was building out, let's say I'm going to do a refinance one. I'm going to click on my plus. So this is opening up that actual window that I'm going to build it in. I'm going to come over here, and I'm pretty sure that I have a refinance like template. If not, I will just cheat. All right, I'm going to say this one's similar. So I'm going to come in and highlight it, copy it, come over here, and paste it in there. Now I can come in here and I can adjust this as needed. So making any adjustments needed in here, moving things around, making it pretty. Once I'm done making it pretty, click on the little save button. If you do not click on the save button, it will not save. If you just eliminate it, it will ask you, do you want to save? Make sure you're saving it. So once you save it, then you can go in and you can make changes anytime. So let's say I want to update. Maybe something's changed in my first-time home buyer. I click on the first-time home buyer, click on edit, and now I can come in here and I can update anything I need to update in here. So it's pretty simple to build those signatures out. Again, I would build out at least 3 basic ones. If there's a special product that you do, let's say that you are known seller buy down. You're doing seller buy downs all the time. Build out a basic presentation or email to realtors about seller buy down. So you can go in and you can quickly just add that information in there. You should also have a basic presentation in your mortgage coach that you're using as samples if you are working with referral sources. You should have those basic samples in there that you can just quickly grab the link, add it to an email, and send it over to anyone that you're trying to work with. So I'm going to share my. So any other questions or anything that you guys do have? I know there's only 6 minutes left, but I'm going to go in, and if there is something else that you do need, drop it in. Can you show where to get the email link again? So email links for the presentation itself, if you go to the presentation, click on over here, share, and there's that link. So you'll be able to pick up that link. The other thing you can do is if you have your email set up, and mine is set up to a different email system, you can click on here and it'll take you right to your email. And then you can highlight that link from there and then add the template. So remember to highlight the link first, add the template. I think it's just as easy just to go to my email, drop in my signature, and then add the link. So again, if you want a copy of this recording, email me, tina@mortgagecoach.com. If there is anything else you need, support is there for you too. Support at mortgagecoach.com. Reach out to them as well. They can go into your account in the back end. For example, I have access to go into anyone's account as well. So if you are working on something and you need that extra little help, go in and ask them for help and they'll be able to help you. So if there's no other questions or concerns, I'm going to go ahead and wish you guys all a very happy weekend. Go out and spend some time with the family, or go out and do some open houses. So you are welcome. And thank you guys for joining me. Please join me next week again. We'll go through whatever you need. If you have questions, come to the class with questions, and I can jump right into what you need. Thanks again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.